Good afternoon, guys. MWUSA Season 2, Episode 227. It is Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving, and we have arrived at our destination. Everyone has unloaded from the car, and we are visiting with family right now. A few kids will be staying with us at the hotel, and some will be staying with family. So, with things being kind of tight as far as quarters and them wanting to sleep here, we are going to go get some cots. That's COT, like a bed, and so they can sleep on those. We found a place nearby that has some for a decent price, like a really good Black Friday deal, and we're going to go there and pick some up and bring them back, and then probably hang out for a little while, and then head off to the hotel, check in, and do a little gambling. So right now sun is setting, so early evening, and it's actually nice here. Temperature's 48 degrees, nice weather, so can't complain about that. On the way into town, stopped by an ice cream place and picked up something called a concrete. If you look that up, you might be able to figure out where this is. But it's like kind of like a Blizzard, if you know Dairy Queen. It's blended together like that. So those were pretty good, but expensive. I spent over $50 on those. But here we are. In this area, there's plenty of casinos and lots of games to play. So it's just going to be a matter of balancing being with family with being able to make some money. So, and I have a kind of a tall goal here of $10,000 to make over the next 4 days. So hopefully variance is on my side, and we can get that done. So this will probably be a 2-day episode. I'm just waiting for everyone to come out so we can go get these cots, and then we'll probably go later on this evening to check into the hotel and go from there. So for now, letting you go, and I'll be back to update you. All right, guys, I am back. It is 1:30 a.m. and it's been a long day. I finally got checked into the casino, had a really nice room of our own. Like, it's not a balcony like I thought it was, but it's more like a patio area. Nice big patio area with chairs and bushes for privacy, fence, nice big blocks, stone blocks and stuff. And I guess you can smoke outside because there was ashtrays on the tables and stuff, recliners and stuff out there. So that was really nice. Got checked in. Wife stayed in the room, and I went to gamble and walked around first. I looked at all the slot machines and didn't find too much, but I was ahead about $120 at that point with the slots, and put the voucher in my pocket and went to the high limit blackjack and played there for quite a while. I would say almost 3 hours on a double deck. Initially, $25 to $2,500 was the table limit, and I was playing $25 to $250 on that. And I think the biggest bet I got out there, I think I got to $250, but things weren't going well the whole time. I went shoe after shoe, winning 0 hands or 1 hand or 2 hands. And in fact, my best shoe, I won 4 hands, which is not good, especially when your head's up and you're winning 4 hands on a double deck. Now, they were cutting it at about 0.9, so I'm playing about 1.1 or 1.2 decks, so it wasn't the greatest penetration. Obviously, there's other places that I've been that have much better rules and better penetration. The only downside on this was obviously no resplit aces and it was a hit 17 table, and every time The dealer got a soft 17. He made a 19 or 20 and just killed me. You know, and you never really think about it, but when you have a 17 facing an ace, you can't win. I mean, if the dealer has a 6 underneath, you don't push. You have to get a 10 on top of that just to push. Otherwise, the dealer has multiple chances to beat you, especially if he gets a low card. So, got beat up pretty badly there. I finally left the table. I had bought in for a total of $2,500. I left the table with $375. I moved over to a 6-deck table, was also $25 minimum, $2,500 maximum, and started playing there. And soon I lost that money, and then I was forced to rebuy for another $500. So now I was in for $3,000, and things started to turn around a little bit. I got to the point where I had $1,500 in front of me. I was feeling good. I felt like everything was within reach, and then just got hit hard again with more bad shoes, and just endless losing hands. No chance to make any money. Low counts and endless losing hands. So I went from having 750 in front of me to 400, and then things started on the upswing again. I got up to about 600 or so, and the dealer says, the pit says something to the dealer, and I asked for clarification what they said, and they said the next shoe will be the last shoe. Not what you want to hear, especially since the low limit is so bad and the dealers are so slow. Even these high limit dealers are not good dealers. In fact, there was a hand where I had a 18 against a dealer 22, 949, and he took my money. And I think I had 150 out there. Maybe I only had 125. I thought I had 150, and the dealer thought I had 150, so they returned it. And then I'm like, okay, well, you returned it. You also owe me because it was a winner, not a loser. So you got to watch those things. That's a $300 swing. That's what people make in a day. And that's what the swing was on that mistake that the dealer made. It was actually right when that hand happened that the pit told him the next shoe will be the last shoe. And I looked over, and we had about 2.5 decks left to play, getting about 1 1/4 penetration on it. And I thought, man, I'm not going to have any time to get this money back, especially the way that things have been going today. And I had a $100 handout, got a blackjack, and then I had another blackjack, and I had like 5 or 6 blackjacks. The count starts going up. I get more blackjacks, and I get to the point then where I'm like, okay, well, we're almost done with the shoe. It's a negative count now at this point. I had a lot of hands where it was me and another person at one point where we both had 2 face cards, and the dealer had a blackjack multiple times. But what I was saying was, I got to the point where I knew that we were close to the end of this shoe. We only have 1 shoe left, and I counted my chips, and I was up to $29.50. And I thought, well, it shouldn't be a problem. And it was, like I said, negative. And I lost like 4 or 5 hands in a row, and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm never going to be able to get this back to even. And I started thinking to myself, what would be okay to leave down? Because I'm not going to play that low limit stuff. So luckily for me, I had some good variance for the rest of that shoe after that, and the shoe ended. And I was trying to bet just over what I should be betting just to get it over even, but everything I did failed, and I ended up at that end of that shoe exactly even. So now I'm pretty bummed. You know, I've been playing that table for 3 hours, and those 2 tables for 3 hours, and I'm like, I don't want to start another shoe the way things are going. It would be my last shoe, then I might feel some pressure, and I don't even want to mess with it at that point. I think if I had been down, it would have been easier for me to continue on, but since I was exactly even at that point, I thought I might as well get up. So Colored up, I asked for, well, here they're a different color, but I asked for $500 chips. I got 6 $500 chips. I went to the cashier. I cashed out 3 of them because I don't know their limits here, and I have had a problem here before. So I cashed out 3 of them. I decided to go look at the slots again. I look at the slots and I see a play, and I'm like, oh no, I really don't want to make this play because it's a little bit riskier than what I like. It was, a portion of it was in really good position. It was positive EV, but at the same time, the part that I'm more likely to get to easily was just barely negative. So I walked away from it. I went and played another one, which was positive EV, and I lost $200 on that. So now I'm like, I let go of the one that was good for one that was okay. And instead of being up 120, now I'm down like one something. So I said, to heck with it. I'm going to go back there, and if it's still there, I'm going to go ahead and play it. I go back and look at the machine. It's still there. I put in my voucher, which was like $100 and something left at that point, and started playing, and that money evaporated in no time. It was a weird number. It was like $7 or so, $7.50, something like that, a spin. So I ran out of money. I put $200 more in there, and after about $70 more, I finally hit and got paid out, and I actually got the better payout, not the one that I expected, and that paid like $1,785. So I was pretty happy at that point. I'm up like $1,400 or something like that overall on the slots at that point. And then I said, okay, I'm going to take one more lap around, and then we'll leave. I don't know how I missed it earlier. Maybe because I was walking in one direction and this machine was on the other side, and I didn't see it. I must have passed it 2 or 3 times. But finally I noticed this machine, and it was a beautiful spot. But the problem was, it's another high limit one. It was $7.50. So I thought, I'm up at this point. I'm doing well. Why not go for it? I went for it, and it took my $100 and something ticket that I had left from the other machine, and then $400 more before I finally hit it. And I hit that for like $900 and something. And I said, that's great. I'm going to walk around, finish my lap, and then I'm going to leave. And that's what I did. I walked around, finished the lap, and I said, I'm going to leave. And I got everything all added up just to see where I was overall. And for the slots, I was ahead $1,891, which was, what a comeback from being down almost $3,000 in blackjack. I was all in 9 or 10 times on that 3,000. Not that I wouldn't have rebought, but there was a point where every time I'd go all in with the money I had left on the table, I would win the hand, and then I'd win a couple more, get me back in the game, and it just kept on going back and forth. And luckily it all worked out there. So at this point right now, it is 1:48 a.m. I'm sitting in the hallway. I know if I go back to the room, that's going to be it for the night. So I think I'm going to just take one more lap. Why not? I've already cashed out the vouchers that I had, and I did go back to the cashier and cashed out the other $1,500 in chips that I had. So I think I'm okay to go ahead and take one more lap. There's nothing else I can do. All I'm going to do is go to the room and sleep anyway, so I might as well just go ahead and take one more shot at it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to walk around, take one more shot at it. I may record some stuff, but I doubt it. I don't think you're going to get much out of casino noise when I'm checking machines, so I probably won't do that, but I would take one more quick lap here, and then I'll be back. Alright guys, I am back. Just have to say, what a stupid casino this is, that they close high limit tables when there's players that are willing to keep playing, and you're closing the tables and leaving the low limit tables open. It's unbelievable. There's people standing around everywhere in the low limit with nothing to do, and they're closing the high limit. So whatever. Earlier when I was playing, I was watching this lady on a machine, and I think she knew a little bit about what she was doing, but not really. And she was playing this machine and losing, and then she'd be texting someone, and then she would ask the person next to her to hold her seat for her. She'd go to the ATM, get like $40, and then she'd come back, play that through. She's playing almost $3 a spin, so obviously she's low on money, and lose the 40, and then come back, and then play again, $40 or $50, and she did that a few times, and finally, there was no way she was getting any more out. So I was just standing behind her waiting, and I thought I could make a deal with her on the play, because it's just sitting there anyway, and she's trying to get money anyway. She's probably going to hit it. Let's make a deal. So I thought maybe I go up to her and say, let's work something out for like 30% for you. And I walk up to her, and she's this like older Eastern European lady, like blonde hair, Russian type, Eastern European type. And I had a little problem communicating with her. So turns out she just said, just give me something, at least give me something. And I said, okay. And I thought, if I win big, I'll give her something decent, but otherwise, if I break even or make just a little, I'm not going to give her anything. So I sit down, I start playing, and it's about, like I said, about $3 a spin, and within, I don't know, $50 or so, $40, I end up hitting it, and it pays miserably. So it only paid like $80, and she had said that she was already in for $800 on that machine already. So for it to only hit $80 is pretty awful, and you can see how they can make so much money off that, because they're keeping so much of the money. I mean, she put $800 in there, allegedly. Nobody knows. Every gambler's a liar, obviously, but if she put anywhere near that $800 in there, and I got paid that little. Anyway, I ended up, actually, it didn't pay $80, I ended up ahead $80. So, you know what, hopefully this music doesn't come through, because if it does, then I might have this episode banned. So I'm going to walk away from the noise here so it doesn't show up as well. So anyway, I was ahead 80 on the play, so I ended up giving her 40, just, you know, and I just counted it as being in for $40 more when I figured out my numbers. So really, I won 40 more than what I said, but since I gave it to her, I took it out of my profit. Anyway, so that was that. When I went back to the high limit and was playing blackjack over there, there was only one double deck table that was open, and there was a guy on there, and he was betting like 200 or so on a hand, and then he was betting 25 or 50 on an awful side bet. And in fact, there's more than one version of this side bet, and this version is the worst one. It pays less than the other version. So he was getting the worst of everything. Anyway, so I pull up to that table, and he's got about $2,500 in chips. And later on, he told me what happened. He had gotten to the table, he bought in for like $500, and he said that the first shoe that he played, he won every hand, and that got him up to like $2,500. And then I came around, and he basically started losing with me, where that's where I was winning one hand, two hands, no hands, and a shoe. Anyway, he got pretty frustrated. He lost the whole $2,500. He took another $500 out of his pocket a couple times, lost that, and then got frustrated and walked away. And I kept on playing, and then about 10 minutes later, he came back. He must have gone to the ATM or something and gotten more money. And he got beat up again, lost another $1,000 and left. And then another guy and an Asian guy came to the table and sat down and started playing. And I said, I'm done with this. Not doing well here anyway. Let me switch over to the other table. And the only reason I didn't switch over to the 6-stack table earlier is because the shoe had already started, and I was waiting for them to fan out the cards so I could get a fresh shoe, and that they didn't do it. And after a couple hours, they hadn't done it, and they had only played maybe half a deck, maybe a little bit more than half a deck through. So I thought I might as well just go ahead and do it. It stayed neutral pretty much the whole way through anyway, so it didn't make a difference. So anyway, that's what happened with that, and that's what happened in the high limit. But that lady was interesting because she looked so much in distress, and she was sitting there and she was smoking so rapidly. I mean, some Asians do this too, but Eastern Europeans and Middle Eastern people, they can be like chimneys, man, nonstop. You know, suck down that whole cigarette in a couple drags, and she was like angry smoking, you know. So anyway, she probably smoked 7 or 8 cigarettes while she was pounding on her cell phone trying to get someone to give her some money. So that's at that point when I walked up to her and said, hey, you know, you want to work something out, because I didn't want to stand behind her for another 20 minutes waiting and then someone pull up with some money and she get all of it. So I figured I'd at least get part of the money. But, you know, everything worked out okay overall. I just took another lap and really did not find anything. Right now it's about, what the heck, 2:15. I'm going to take a break here for a second and then go back in there again and take one more stab at it and see what I can do. So I'm going to let you go right now, and then I'll be back and update you. One other thing while I'm waiting here, when I got paid my jackpot, it took like 25 minutes for them to pay me out. And I had been seeing them go get jackpots for people and bring it to them so fast when I was playing in the high limit. And I started to worry, because the only time I've ever had a problem with jackpots is at casinos related to my home casino that banned me. And when I would go to other casinos that related to them, even sometimes when I would want to get a hotel, they would say, hey, did you realize that you're banned at this place? And I said, yeah, well, so what? Everything's okay, you know, and everything would be fine. But it took them so long to pay me out the jackpot that I started worrying. This is one of the places that, not all places do this, but this one does. They give you a receipt to hold on to saying that you won the jackpot and you're waiting for your money. And after I'd been waiting for about 20 minutes, I took a picture of that in case they came over and said, okay, give me the receipt, and then didn't give me the money for some reason. I know that I would win a case like that because they invited me here. They gave me very little, but like $30 in free play and all that kind of stuff. And after checking in and after playing the free play, no one said anything. For them then to deny the jackpot would not have made a lot of sense. So I wasn't too stressed out, but I was starting to get there when it had been that long. But finally, the lady came over, and I don't know if she was training someone or not. Someone else was with her, and that's usually not the case unless it's a bigger jackpot, like 5,000 or 10,000 or bigger like that. But she said that, oh, sorry it took so long. I had to do some updating in the computer. So I don't know if that means that they saw the note and they had to go get approval for it, and then they put something else in the computer, or if it's just a bunch of BS and they got a manager to approve it, or if nothing was going on and it just took a long time. But all these thoughts start going through your mind when you're when you're in those situations, sitting there in the middle of the casino and everyone's staring at you, and they took your paperwork, they took your ID, and they never came back. So that's one of those situations that I don't like to be in. But now that they've paid me out again here, I had a W-2 here a few years ago, I think, maybe last year. But since they paid me out again, I'm sure everything will be fine. I did play blackjack unrated. And actually it was interesting because the pit only had me in for $2,500, even though it was $3,000. and I'm going to double check. I'm going to count the money in my pocket and make sure, but I'm positive it was 3,000 because I remember at one point one of the pit bosses was busy. He had just gotten to the pit. The other one was leaving, and the one leaving approved a $500 buy-in for me and told the other one, and the other one must have just forgot or not paid attention or whatever and not put it in the system. Since they're not rating me anyway, it doesn't matter, but if anything, it actually helps me because I can go to 10,500 instead of 10,000. But I think this place is such a lower, I don't want to say quality, but their bets are so much lower here. They're used to lower bets that I would have never gotten to 10,000 without an issue. So that would have never been. In fact, I was considering 5,000 being my stopping point because they don't have that many high rollers. And how often do you go to a high limit room where the minimum is only $25? So obviously, they're not used to the big bets. And the dealers are so slow, it's crazy. I remember last year at one point when I came here, I actually left and I was up or down like $20 or $40, and I couldn't stand it. It was so frustrating. I was getting like 40 or 50 hands an hour. Side bets people were playing. The dealer was so slow. They were so talkative, and a lot of these overweight dealers will lean against the table to balance themselves and stuff, and it's just horrible. So anyway, I'll be right back with you after I take one more lap and figure out what to do. I may even go to another location, but I doubt it. I'll be back. All right, guys, I'm back. As you can hear, there's still music in the background. It's about 2 hours later, and everybody's working for the weekend. I went back in there and played some stuff. I got up $70 almost like immediately, and then I was up like $175, but got stubborn and stayed in there and kept on going, looking for more stuff, and had some bumpy plays, and next thing you knew, instead of being up 70 or 175 at one point, I found myself down $4.99. So kept on looking, of course. Can't go to sleep down, that would be stupid. So kept on going and found a couple really good plays that I normally wouldn't look for, but it was to the point where the place was thinning out. All the Asian people were sitting around talking to each other, playing stupid games. They worked all day to make the money, and now they were giving it all back, smoking like chimneys, and just playing the dumbest games and giving everything back to the casino. They were having a good time, though, so I guess if you have a good business and you're making good money and you don't need this, then I guess it's worth it if you're having fun. But for me to go around looking at tons of machines all day long and be in a smoky area and then give it all back at the end of the night and you wasted a whole day, that's not my idea of fun, but I guess everybody's different. So I went back to all the same machines, and then there's one machine that I play close to home that I know the exact entry point for it, and it's not the greatest machine, but I do pretty well on it overall. So I started playing that one, and that one really killed me. That took me from being up 175 to being down over 100, and that was at $1.80 a spin. So $1.80 a spin just destroyed me. And then from there on, I'm searching. Next play, I think I lost $50. The next play, I think I lost $375 or something like that. And then the next play, I won just a little bit over $600, something like that. And I ended up overall plus $71 after all that, plus $71, which on my first play, I was plus 70, like 2 hours ago. So now we're looking at sunrise will be happening in a couple hours, and I'm still over here messing around with this. So I think that's all I can really do right now. People were like crowding around watching me play this last machine because they were shocked that it paid out. But obviously, if you know the right time to get in, you're going to win. So that's the whole key, and not going overboard and doing silly things or playing too many things that are close. Unless, for me, I'll play something that's close if it's a low denomination and I'm not going to get hurt. The upside is equal to the downside or a little bit better, then I'll do it. But if it's a 7 or 10, or I saw one just now that was a $25 play on a machine I've never played before, but it's a reskin of an old machine, and it was almost there. It was so close, and I walked up to it thinking if it's a 75-cent play, I'm going to play it, but it was a $25 play. So crazy how these penny machines now go up to hundreds of dollars sometimes. But anyway, I'm going to let you go for now, and we'll start a new episode. If you have any questions or comments, it's mwusa21@gmail.com, mwusa21@gmail.com. See you in a few hours.